Good morning. Let's get started. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for attending the seminar. Uh, this is the beauty of it because the audience is smaller, so we get to engage more. All right, is that okay? No, you see? You don't want to talk, have like small talk, right? That is usually like the initial response by people, to be honest. Um, okay, but smile is means a lot already, to make some kind of a connection. So I'm here to talk about the art of small talk, how to master it from perspective of an English teacher who has turned it into a business. So I come from other different industry. I come from education industry, obviously, and it has to do more with entertainment because it has to be fun in order to be effective, and people need to loosen up to overcome their barriers in order to actually learn something. And hopefully I will remind you, I don't think I'm going to like teach you anything super new, just to remind you and talk you through my story, how small talk helped me build my business. Good morning. So this is a completely different industry, as I'm saying. However, I would like to focus here on the more this softer side of things. That's like software in your businesses. I have seen some phenomenal lessons here, and most of them are also focused on defining your story, sharing your story, also in the digital form, in all kind of marketing, sales, and also how to set up, good morning, how to set up operational stuff. So this is something slightly, something softer that can also help you stand out. I'll tell you how. Oh, so this is what I'm usually hired for by companies who, as you see, who kind of recognize that a small talk part is the issue because even if they hire like top-notch experts and who design and provide phenomenal product services, when it comes to, these short initial interactions, people tend to pull away. Not everybody's assertive enough, and you don't know where the right boundary is with people. So it's kind of something that I help them with how to structure, how to navigate the small talk, how to get out the best of people. And I'm talking not about superficial stuff, I'm talking about going deeper, taking it to the next level. And you will see how I pulled it off. Okay, you have been here. How many native English speakers are in the audience? No, okay. Croatian? All right, so we prevail. Mister, where are you from? All right. Why have you come here to this particular seminar, if I may ask, like up front, to put you on spot?
Yes, you may ask. I was just interested in what it could bring me, small talk. I was just, it triggered me to come over, so
It's good
just
word.
wondering.
Just wondering, out of curiosity, right?
That's it.
Okay, cool. And this is something that we can really use as a leverage. Our wondering about our clients can take you far, far away. All right. So I'm glad to hear. Hopefully that will be valuable for you. So the whole industry here, as you see, has to do with nice and shiny leisure stuff. But I want you to remind you, in like competing, who launches better digital content, who has better yachts, boats. Don't forget, and don't tend to underestimate the power when the client comes to you, those 15 minutes, what can be done. So you are at the steering, you are the creator of it. And here also I would like to address personal branding, which I think could be even more increased in the whole industry. It's quite, professional. It's quite, there are like standards. But if you want to stand out, you like this can help you out with your personal communication skills and your personal branding to add more flavor to it. All right, this is where I come from. This is my father is from here, and I will just tell you one thing. Today, like 2 days ago, I was presenting as well, and today's presentation is quite different. First of all, I'll tell you what, everybody talks about confidence. I'll tell you what confidence is. Confidence is when when you are invited to present here among quite evolved people in this very attractive industry, basically a day before it actually takes place, because the presenter, Sylvia, was supposed to present. She couldn't make it, so I jumped in. And today my presentation is pretty different, because these 2-3 days, what I've been through with you guys and the presenters, just makes me feel more empowered. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but this is like the coolest thing you can go for, because it kind of gave me confirmation that I'm on the right path. Everything I do is valid, but I wasn't empowered enough. So I kind of revised that, and this is what I want to pass on to you. First thing that you always ask yourself, you have heard like create your story, communicate your story, but then you come on the stage and you ask yourself, is my story interesting? It always comes back to you. So I think this is the first thing. And we did also market research in our school. I'll talk you through that. It turns out why people don't tend to engage in small talk. First of all, English. That's why I asked about English background, because first of all, English can also be hindrance for non-English speakers. You have to think like what to say and how to say it in English. And small talk requires this charming, spontaneous, responsive, dynamic exchange. And if you don't feel confident and knowledgeable on the phrases, you lose confidence in a bit and you withdraw. And the managers, the businessmen who actually hire me say, please make our managers, salespersons more assertive. So English can be one of the factors. This is what the research showed. And second, people don't think what they have to say is interesting enough. Can you believe that? Like, we are adults. So if you maybe, go deeper, you might find that, because I felt that 10 minutes ago. It always comes. So in creating your story, I think it takes bravery, it takes empowerment. Who attended Mr. Adams' presentation yesterday? Can I say? Everybody in the group. So we share the same inspiration, right? You didn't attend? How?
Adams was.
Lady
Can
Gaga.
you just remind us the team?
The theme, the art of storytelling.
Yeah.
You did, right?
No, I didn't.
No. He's not showing up today, I think. Okay. Any takeaway from his? I have to relate to him, because he was, for me, he was like the person who helped me empower the most, self-empower. Any takeaway from him? What resonated with you the most? Mr. May I ask you, Mr.?
Tell your own story.
Right.
So don't be scared about
Yes.
telling what you have to say, and
Yes.
and make it your what you have to say actually is interesting for others, and don't copy others.
Yes.
Tell us what you have to say.
Yeah, and make sure, right, and it is interesting. And you create your community, even if other people drop because they don't find your story interesting, you will still have your tribe. And that's super important. And also, if you heard about the path of hero, like being your own hero, like first you're terrified of something, and then you find a mentor, and then you show up better, and then you make impact on others. If you recall, for me, that was also a takeaway. So he really helped me a lot. So this is a place where I come from. I'll tell you about some kind of user experience in this business. So ladies, let me ask you, are you in this industry? What exactly do you do? Ladies here, I know you don't like small talk, but you can answer in Croatian. I will translate. All right.
I
Cool.
have a tourist office agency, small one, with a smaller boat, like long 9 meter, and we have daily excursions in Komija.
You do?
Yes,
So this
I
is
love
Komija. You've been there, guys. Okay.
I'm blushing now. I love Komija. It's
You
my
recognized
favorite
it.
place. Yeah, I will buy a house there probably one day.
We have to grab some coffee there, okay, and talk about
Like
there.
every summer I go there a couple of days after the season. So it's a really good place to go if you haven't been there. So it's a different kind of the island.
Local people are weird, like I'm local. Yes.
Anyway, and we have from this year we have a yacht for 6 person. So I came here actually because of that business actually, because we are new in that.
All right.
So I came something to learn, and Mark was really great. But today it's really hard to do a new story. For example, I'm working for about 12 years, and we're really trying that each guest, it's for us a person, not a number, because I love to travel. So I love to go somewhere, and when someone will say hello, here you go, you have to go there, and so I love this job. But it's hard nowadays because the competition is really hard and big, and everyone is doing like some bad stuff. And we
Yes.
have like Blue Cave Tour, and we are the first on TripAdvisor.
All right. I'll see you there.
Because we really like, we love the guests. And we have like personal touch with them.
Okay.
So we have like 100 person per day for the Blue Cave.
Yes.
And we send each guest a message through WhatsApp. Hello, your tour is tomorrow. This is location, meeting point for tomorrow. This is our number from the office. So we're trying to do.
So you introduce such kind of practice, like
Yes.
additional reminder.
Yes.
This is phenomenal for
Yes, yes.
people. Okay.
Yeah, and now we learn also about WhatsApp, that is really good business WhatsApp for MailChimp that we can connect.
Okay.
So with
So
the booking
reaching out.
manager, yeah. So this is a good summit.
So
I
this
think.
is phenomenal. Like nowadays, you have all those tools, digital. We can reach out, you can bond, you can like send reminders because people are saturated, obviously. All right, that's a phenomenal start. And what happened about this island? Who else has been here? I saw some smiles here. Have you been here? Ladies, you have been here. All right, cool. Oh, okay. So the island was closed for 40 years by the military, right? So they were quite hermetic when it comes to admitting tourists. But later on, they started opening up. And as you said, a lot of small speedboats, agencies started blooming. What I have noticed in this whole business that elsewhere, as well, even in my school, we have begun to become more operative, like just to be highly operative, and anything that's not highly operational, we consider it as a waste of time. And I'll talk you through my story. And also at this point, there is an agency. There was a boy. He's my relative. He was a selling person. His small talk was bad because he's just a shy guy. And what came down to, like, you would approach him and you had to, as a potential customer, ask him question after question. He would be responding with minimum, like bare minimum basic information, because maybe he felt embarrassed, to not to be imposing. So he missed the opportunity. So small talk relied on me actually navigating him. So teach your staff at the front line, small talk is valuable. This is my story. Okay, now we've been like, if you know what your story is, what your community is, if you feel empowered that this is interesting for some people, the question is, where is the attention? Where does the attention go? Does it go on operational stuff? Does it go on like these interactions, or you're constantly in a hurry when a client comes over? Who is the audience? I have seen a lot of talkers in service providers, but who is the audience? They turn customer into their audience. So you keep hearing about their story. So I'm selling you something and you keep hearing about my story. So first thing I would advise, like my father is first, he would literally lose some clients because he was talking constantly about what he has to offer rather than putting them in the picture. So these are some don'ts, I would say. Also, what's the occasion? If, like, when I'm on board, I don't feel like having small talk. It's bad. Like, don't bother me. You have to know what the occasion is. Are you being intrusive or is it inviting? What's the moment? This is something you have to like bring awareness to. So my story is like this. Okay, we can skip this. Small talk in general, I made research. It has general like negative, bad reputation. People feel most dreadful, don't feel confidence in us. So less small talk, more real talk, for example, such kind of stuff. My also students tend to pull away when it comes to that, and this is something I would like to bring fresh perspective. So definition is it's a polite, casual conversation about unimportant, uncontroversial matters, especially as engaged. We know that. But let me challenge you guys, if you go deeper with that, you will gain more loyal people. I'll tell you how. Okay, so this is me. I would definitely give more value to it. Rapport, like building relationship. This is what we are here for. We are doing the networking. We want to expand. That's obvious. Your takeaway, hopefully, would be to learn some techniques and again to feel more confident in navigating that. What's my story? So I established my school. I was initially an English teacher, and it was like literally sink or swim. You know, when you're starting, you don't have much resources, and clients are not just coming in. So the only thing I had actually was like literally myself, and the only thing I relied on in that moment was to really, really be open to people and make people open to me. So for 18 years, I've been running the school. Every semester, we have 250 clients. In general, like so far, we have sold 8,000 courses. And this 8,000 does not refer to the number of customers. It refers to the number of sold courses, which means we have gained huge loyalty because some students would take up even up to 8 courses. So this is not for me to brag. This is to understand the scale and the size of almost 500,000 hours spent in communication and my insights. Now we have 16 teachers. I'm hired by businessmen. I'm hired by politicians. I train them, people from all walks of life. Sports trainers, you learn from politicians how to be more diplomatic. You learn from managers how to be more sales-oriented in small talk. And you learn from, for example, sports trainers will tell you, when I come on the football match, I have to be automatized, you know. So that's not time to overthink. When you get there, you have to know how to use transitions, stuff like that. So this is hopefully something that will serve you. Most commonly I heard, yeah, but introverts, you know, people don't tend to, it's hard to get, you know, bond with introverts. That's so not true. They're the most grateful part. If you reach out to them, they will be yours, you know, forever. So definitely I can confirm that small talk is a huge value. How it all started. So we started when you don't have resources, you can be paying for extensive testing of students. You can be paying for your extra staff to like pay attention to people. And what happens, like nowadays, I would notice, not nowadays, it has changed, but like until recently, literally teachers and my assistant client would come and we would say, okay, like here is the stuff you have to fill in, this is your group, that's it. And that's wrong. Highly operational stuff. You know, it's maybe cost effective for you, but it's just, there is no time and space for this additional value. So what I had, like, can you imagine in 2 weeks you have like 250 people come, you have to test them. We didn't have time for extended tests. I couldn't afford it. So what I said, we have guys 12 to 15 minutes per person. How do you make a stranger open up? How do you identify what their needs are? What's their English level? What's their motivation? The reasons they come here for this. And so we trained our teachers how to get there, especially in English and foreign languages. People were closed up, they were not willing to talk, plus people in general don't open. We're like full of barriers. People tend to be, you know, as I said, I don't want to be repetitive. So this was for me the trigger. I had to find a way to reach out to people in 10, 15 minutes. Rather than extensive written tests, we engage in lifelike small talks as if there was no assessment, you know, to put people at ease. So this is something you put forward and you navigate without, you just like pull them in the conversation and you reach for these things. So we would like acknowledge, always gratitude, you know, it always works, like icebreakers. Thank you for coming. Are you here for the first time? Question what brings you here is the best question ever you can ask somebody who comes here for the first time, because what happens here What you are fishing for is not to tell your story. You are heading for people to tell their stories to you. This is what keeps them, what makes them feel belong to you. So what you are fishing for is definitely what brings you here, what's your story. You can ask. This is something, when I ask that, people start, like most closed introverts start talking. Ask them about their story. What brings them here? What's the pain point? What's the reason? Why have they come here for leisure time? And I will tell you stuff I found out about students that made my jobs and my sense of purpose even deeper. It's important. You are the creator. You hold the steer. It's important that you know the reasons why they come to you. And we're not talking about like superficial stuff, well, they need some leisure time. No, no, no. I'll tell you what I found out about my clients if you dare to go there. Just ask the question. You'll see how, people love to talk about themselves and to be heard and seen. Once you hear their response, you keep it going. So you acknowledge, I'm glad you have set out. Do you find it? You keep it going. Don't think it's not appropriate. It's something, just you are the one who needs to keep it going to find that spot to reach to the core of what drives them. Second question, for example, what do you love doing in your free time? So these people are still not aware they're being tested. We test them by actually figure out what drives them, what their passion is. And then we realize, okay, that's the level of English or whichever language. And then, so as we had with Adam's phenomenal example, the lady went for diving to overcome her claustrophobia. Wow, that's something you learn more about the person. She's not here just to have fun. You go deeper. It's like it's pure psychology. Honestly, this is, that's great. And then you relate as much as you can. Adam demonstrated this phenomenal. So relating, I think we just don't dare going there. What do you love about your job? Always ask for things that people feel encouraged by, their passion, and then you also relate, whatever they respond. Yes, I love working in international team. Meetings can be stressful. Show empathy, acknowledge that you are on the same place, you've been there, verbalize that. We don't tend to verbalize. If somebody comes you with something maybe something less comfortable, I'm sorry to hear that we are here. If there's anything we can do, saying that, like verbalizing that, we think like, oh, that's implied. People love to hear that. Like they feel important, they feel heard and seen. So I'm just telling you, like just verbalizing the emotional aspect really goes deep. Stuff like that. One thing I have noticed, so guys, I'm not a psychologist, I'm an English teacher, I'm an art historian, but a bunch of psychologists actually attend my courses. So this is that's the fun part for me. I do not have, I'm just telling you for what has worked. You have seen the figures, what works with people, what makes them come back. Of course, you have to provide operationally super convenient stuff, service, yes. But if you miss on that, and this is the way you can stand out the best, definitely. So do we sell or do we serve? The story we tell is definitely think about the impact of it, your blueprint, your personal branding through these direct interactions. Also, you can use your personality in any kind of digital quotations, any kind, we need more owners. When we spoke of Komija and stuff, these local people, they rely most, so these are all small family businesses. And by the way, most successful corporations are family businesses throughout the world, like more than 80%. What do they incorporate? This special set of values. And these local people, they actually maintain themselves. They were hosting. For example, Pierino, he's one of the hosts. What he did for me, other than provide me with service of speedboat, he obtained a medicine for my child when the pharmacy was closed. He was there, he committed. And this is because he asked me, Lana, is there everything okay? And every time he asked me, how is the school doing? He does not talk about his story. He engages me, and every time, and then he drops by. So this is something that if you can commit to go beyond, that will. So I'm really loyal to him because of this moment. It's not just business. It's something that he emotionally, like you feel you're just loyal to this person. Another thing, whatever, first of all, you have seen it, if you find this hero in yourself to define your story, to disseminate the story, also whatever you do in your small talk, go for the hero aspect of the other person. I know it sounds like, what are the yacht business? Ask them. I'll tell you the story, what I heard. So it's engaging other people. So I think it's very important that we don't talk about our stories so much. Okay, you have said in advertising, it has appealed people, cool. Next step, when they come here, hear their stories. People need that. Just in brief, like I had to lay out some, just the techniques of actually how to keep the conversation going. Don't come to a point when the customer asks you a question. Be the one who always, offers additional information, additional anecdote. Tell a personal story. You won't bother them. You will just add flavor to this. So keep it light, keep it going. Show interest. You know that. Hearing that. Find common ground. Always, like whatever they say, try to relate to that. What's from your personal experience? Try to, yes, I've been there, acknowledge it. There's a comprehension. You're not just selling. You're not just selling. And by the way, small talks are not only here, the purpose is not only for selling, to get to know their needs. No, the purpose is to hear their stories. And that will also, that's also valuable. Try to relate to it. Reveal something about yourself, because the more you reveal, you keep it going. Giacomo is attending this for the second time. I think he's super, super supportive. Thank you. The way he revealed and the way he related to my presentation last time makes me feel more, committed, and the bond is created. So you are, whatever you have to say, your experience is interesting. Like that, the person needs to hear that. Ask open-ended questions as much as possible. So you're not fishing for answer yes or no. So like, did you like our cruise? Like, how did you like? What was the most fun part of it? Go. Like, there's a method, it's called elicitation in teaching. You elicit, you take people out. Trust me, I have coached most introvert, closed engineers who were raw talent. They do like amazing stuff. And I found a way to talk about his passion. I had nothing, like I was clueless about, but I kept reaching out, and he opened so much that you realize that those people are actually so much knowledgeable, so much more than like what we tend to perceive introverts. Go there, Nobody asks question nowadays, and like especially if you travel, if you've been to Dubai or elsewhere, there is so much convenience in the air. Everyone is very kind, polite, and that's it. Basically, it's all like the service comes down to distance. Distance, you can't mess up. There's nothing wrong you can say. You're on the safe side, but that's a disclaimer. It doesn't take you further. Ask open-ended questions as much as possible, and then narrow when you hear about then you can narrow to get exactly yes or no answers, so you know what to offer. But open-ended questions, be free. That's cool. Also, free information, whatever they bring about, you can use to navigate it further. Like, there is a good example. There was some kind of transport, and the lady said, yes, I came here because I got employed in advertising agency. And the operator said, okay, so do you like the trip? A good communicator he would grab that free information. Oh, advertising agent, where is it? Tell me your story, and that would evolve further. It's not about you, it's really about their story. The best dynamic always, guys, you know that, just a reminder, once you ask a question, follow-up statement. You don't want to be interrogating people, just asking questions. You need to be in the equation. Try it out, experiment. You've been there, I'm sure. It seems to me that sometimes maybe like we need permission. We need somebody who has been there to say it's okay. Like yesterday, it's okay to create your story, maybe something like that. of privacy intrusion, I don't know why they keep saying that. In 15 minutes, I want to know all the deep stuff about you, like what's your pain point, what drives you, what kind of experiences have you been through life, what brings you here, what are you saturated, why are you exhausted, all the stuff that are in the background. So if it's privacy intrusion, I don't know, but intrusive, I think it brings profoundness. Be the hero of your story, first of all, and bring out the hero in them. Use transitions and signals while navigating. So this is kind of awareness of your communication. If you're closing, you say, thank you. Okay, nice to meet you. You know that one. So I'll be like, I can also teach English here. So you said, nice to meet you for the first time. But when you're closing, nice meeting you. It was so good to hear. It was so good to get to know you. Verbalizing that. That reaches, that recipient, he hears that. So good. Like, I've learned so much from you. Thank you for sharing that, acknowledging that. It sounds like we are adults, like we know that, but do we apply that? I knew most of the stuff I heard here, but was I applying it actually? Was it like bringing, that vibe, that confidence? Not really, okay, any questions here? It's super clear, right? It's like you are in charge of the whole. And also, Mr. Chris said that people feel that the other person is control when they're talking. Yes, actually, no. If you are asking the questions, if you're navigating, if you use the transitions, you are in charge. But it doesn't mean it doesn't matter like who is in control. The matter is that you are aware of your structures, transitions, or if you have a talker, person who talks too much, let him take the time. That is, take the time as much as you can, and maybe you can slowly signal, okay, well, you having said that, how about everybody says like be a good listener. Yes, that's super important because everybody talks about themselves, and you as a seller want to avoid that because they have come, obviously you have appealed them already. Icebreaker, guys. So when you see somebody, so here we are talking about, I will address not only talking to complete strangers, but also to your staff, okay, to your staff and to acquaintances, people you see for the second time, because when you go to your operator and the lady asks you, so how is your daughter? You have the background, you're already connected, you know the private pieces that you can show interest, you can examine that you invested attention. And this is something we tend to, like, my teachers initially, they would ask questions about grammar, where they learned English, what's the weak point in English, and that's it. I said, okay, did you ask them why have they come today to us? Have you come there? Why? And then you hear stories like, what you hear stories. Okay, what I have heard in engaging in that, and I'm not afraid to go there anymore. Stories that people, like their child had passed away, and they're enrolling a course just to get back on track. In 15 minutes, complete strangers. I had strangers like literally crying, like they come and they, or I come here for holiday because it was like heavy year, or it was phenomenal year, or somebody like I was sometimes the first to call, not even wife or business partner. Lana, the presentation went really well. It was very helpful the way you helped me structure and do the closure. I was the first one to call and like sharing the joy, and it's, for me, that was an impact I had on this person, and the person came back to me. Also stories, why people enroll the course. We're talking about 12 minutes talking to a complete stranger when you ask them what brings you here. Also the story I have heard, people, the corona has affected their business. They need they want to invest in something. They want to do something about themselves, or some other tragedy, or something super cool, or they have been promoted. And you let them speak, and you learn about them, and you spend the time, So somebody said, well, that's unprofessional. to be people to be crying at the reception of the school, or people to be coming and say, I find like this is my last 2,000 kuna, I'm about to invest, I need to do something with my life, and you realize the value of what you do. And this is important for you guys. If you know that your customer comes and he needs this boat, and you have this awareness why what you're doing it for, the purpose, it will ignite you as well. It will motivate you further. It's not just business, it's really human experience. You can heal people. You can maybe a sentence you say can mean a lot. Also, if you're going there, make sure you're empathic. They're not just customers, they're human beings. If something wrong happens, you don't want to diminish their experience by saying, hello, thank you for coming. I have some speakers here. That's a compliment. You don't want to diminish their experience by verbalizing stuff in maybe less than full awareness level, so you say, thank you for sharing. If there's anything we can do, we are here for you. You don't say like, oh, it will get better, don't worry. Be there for people. You will be surprised where it takes you to go deeper, go profound. Okay, if they're complete strangers, what is effective icebreakers usually? What works? What has always worked for you? Yeah, we need a mic here now at this point. This gentleman, please, next to you, darling.
Okay, what to ask?
Complete stranger. Let's take occasion of this social
Yeah.
networking expansion potential.
Yeah, sometimes I'm just afraid not to be intrusive, to ask questions about personal stuff, and I mean, even if people start to talk about themselves, I tend to maybe to relate, say stuff about myself, but I do not want to look like I'm not listening to them, like I'm talking about myself. I just really want to relate to them. But sometimes it's just okay to ask. The first question is, how are you? How was your day?
How is life? Has life been good to you? Stuff like that. Really?
Yeah,
You're asking me that?
Yeah, but when they ask me the question, it's. I mean, in my business, it's I'm working with clients. We are a charter, so it's usually very hectic. So I do not have the capacity or the time to just be really here. So it's sometimes, but I do not want to seem like I'm not listening.
Right.
But I do want to feel the energy that's in the beginning of the conversation.
Okay,
yes.
so you're aware of like importance of it. It's engaging. Okay, so you reveal about yourself. You relate in order to navigate further.
Yes.
Okay, that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Anybody else? How do you like jump in with a stranger? Ladies, I need some ladies. Oh, yes. We need some American and English humor here. No?
Oh, no pressure. I just try to find out why are they here, and to ask how are you I like to ask twice, and it always surprises people. Hi, how are you? Oh, I'm fine, thank you. Yeah, but really, how are you? And that surprises them. And well, I had a problem getting a taxi this morning. And then they tell a story, and then the conversation begins.
It begins. And that there's a bond, and they'll come back to you, trust me, because they will come back to Pierino, not to necessarily his yacht, his boat, whatever, because, and this is something like we have it in culture, Croats, we don't tend to be very assertive, we don't like to be, it's not about being invasive, push nose, it's just like literally being interested in engaging in on a profound dimension. I mean, Mark Adams yesterday stated, I don't know if you heard that, he stated that black hole is love. Did you hear that? Or did I hallucinate? When I heard that, like, if you come from that place and you're here only for 50, 60 years, trust me, you want to ask, really, no, really, how are you? And people get confused and stuff because they don't get asked. So maybe we just need like little push, little boost. Go ahead, because you have seen, I have developed business, 8,000, 500,000 hours sold communication service. Psychologists come to my classes. I'm not bragging, but I'm just so proud. It's about making impact. Okay, but there is another issue actually I would like to share. Thank you for sharing. By the way, I loved your presentation. You spoke before me about artificial intelligence, about data analysis, and then you can also get feedback from them for these interactions, and you can, we're halfway. Sorry? 10 minutes left. Thank you. No interaction anymore. Don't do this, what I do, okay? Okay, so most common we have icebreakers. Usually it's the weather, guys. If there's anything more innovative you can do, go ahead. Appropriate compliment always works when it comes. I would like to ask you your experience, but I'm running out of time. Appropriate compliment for me, what I have heard, guys, from my practice, try not to go for appearance, outfit, you never know. It's always the performance. If you have heard about a person, something they perform well, always stay authentic. Don't fake it, of course. Always go for performance. People love that. When people reached out to me after the lesson, they say, well, that part really resonated with me. For me, it meant more than when they say, you know, you have such a nice smile. Okay, that's cool. Tell me performance, the impact. So that's a good, way. Oh, that was a very good presentation you gave, that part. Always, if the icebreaker is a compliment, go for, that's what I do, go for any kind of performance. Appropriate humor, we loved this British humor. It was hilarious, especially when Mr. Chris said that people tend to be psychopaths. So I'm not saying, you will be dealing with empaths, you will be dealing with narcissists, but if you come with the vibe from that place, a black hole is real love, and that vibe will resonate with the best aspect of those people. You don't care how difficult they are. You care. You will scale it up, scale it down, But if you come from that place of spirit of giving and genuinely interested, people do respond differently. That is my experience. Notice the surrounding is a phenomenal stuff because you can also say, oh, what a lovely chandelier. Oh, that was nicely organized. Always the surrounding is a good icebreaker if you don't want to be intrusive. But the best question, what brings you here? Trust me. It's the best one to open up people. So my point, oh boy, I can speak fast. You navigate seemingly, time management has always been my weak point. You navigate seemingly superficial small talk to meaningful conversation where you make the other people feel seen, heard. Learn their preferences, needs, desire, what drives the vulnerabilities. You can take from pain to pleasure. You know what hurts them. You can propose problem. You can build rapport. You can bond, learn, inspire, but you have to go deeper. You don't have to. I told you, I have had people who have enrolled my school once their child passed away. For me, that's the game changer. I get up when I'm so tired. I get up in the morning and I know that I want to provide best possible service to that person. And all of them, they all have their stories. Sometimes really 15 minutes is all it takes. So, okay, we've been through this. I think the most, as a gentleman said, I don't have time, maybe. It's so much hectic when things get going. So is it a waste of time? Because I have to be operative. I have to be cost effective. I don't have time to engage in this. Cool. And then you drop it. What about the talkers? Somebody has to interactions can be draining with people, especially if they have barriers. I'm aware of that. Scalability, there's a skill. How can you scale up? You heard Mr. Chris talking about different type of clients. You have amicable, you have enthusiasts, you have people who are more difficult. So you have to be able to scale it up, and it's draining. So do you avoid or engage? People tend to avoid. It's easier to avoid, right? Especially if you mess up, you feel embarrassed. And this was a bit, there was like a mess up with the yacht. Show up. Small talk is more important. Show up, own your shit. Sorry for saying that, I'm a lady. It's so important to verbalize that. People tend not to do that. I see it elsewhere. And when you have small talks, you have a bigger commitment to these people, because if you declare it, you have to be committed. Right? So back to basics also. Is my story interesting? It's better to avoid it. Let me tell you what I did. I incorporated small talk, so I hired 17 teachers at this point. I have 330 Students, we incorporated small talk on conversational classes at the receptionist. I hired people to say, be there in the lobby. We extended the lobby, just engage, find out other people's stories. My assistant, she would answer, hello, yes, she would, again, when somebody was inquiring about the course, she would give the basic information, just what the person asked. We won't, we don't want to do anything wrong. I said, no, Ayla, ask double question, provide more information, not because you're selling it, because we want to hear, we want to know what we are doing this for, okay? I incorporated it myself. I was the first. I don't want anybody to use my time. I realized this is important. In digital marketing, the most successful campaigns were the clients sharing their story of success, how West End helped them reach their success. It's not about us, it's about really them, always looking for common ground. We have recorded in 2 years customer retentions. We have like a 75% of people who actually come back to us. All yachts are similar, perhaps courses are similar, but not all have retaining loyalty. Forgiving nature, if you mess up, but you had a wonderful, deep, profound conversation with them where they know about your stuff, you know about their stuff. If you mess up, they tend to be more forgiving nature. You don't manipulate with that, but I know, they just because you're bonded and they're not going to hit hard. School staff supportiveness. When one teacher is sick, another one covers up because we engage in small talks. No, really, how are you? We have time for that. We reach testimonial. Reviews are better. We get reviews. You don't have to ask for reviews. Like they willingly do it because they love the conversation with you. The whole point, conversation is a resource. Time is a resource. Your attention is a resource. Invest in it. You build community, authenticity. People try to push all kinds of stuff, and these are the articles that I prepare for my students, businessmen. They all say these interactions are super important, but they're not a waste of time. For the end, small talk is a talent and skill, has a structure and flow, it can be trained. It requires you to be empowered as much as you can, open, purposeful. It's like work in progress. It results your stuff, ask your stuff. Teach that boy on the booth, and we are done. Teach him how to engage in small talk. 2 more minutes. I have extension. No. Okay. Thank you, darling. I need you. I need that red color, to like manage me. Small talk brings expansion, but you're not doing for expansion of financial. You're doing for you. Because today, when I come here, I know what my courses do to people. They heal. They come. I know it's more than English language, so much more. And they keep coming back, and we acknowledge that. And I'm so grateful. This panel, if you recognize these people, these are some most prominent people in the society of our entrepreneurship. These guys, so these 3 guys lost their house in Petrinja in a huge earthquake, and these other 3 guys, they're millionaires, so they engage in charity. That small talk, when you ignite the hero in other person, they hire Milana, come with us, work for charity, because we feel comfortable with you. They feel, their heroism. I just listen to their story, and this is where it can take you, even more than your current career, especially you guys. Clients who come to yachts, hello, okay? These are super interesting people. You can be Mr. What is the speaker with the red tie, phenomenal, how to stand out. All right, have you been here? I highly recommend you. No, he is parallel. He's now. How to stand out. He offered, he also said how you can stand out with this, invest. Okay, cool, guys, that's it. So much to, this is my friend, she was supposed to be here. Reach out, business coach, and this is my final statement.